Good morning, everybody. How do you think that this comes about with the layout? I mean, how does this all happen? Why do we put Wonder Woman there and all that stuff? Layout's really, really important. Presentation's everything, right? So we're going to learn about what Glenn does to get this thing looking so sharp. Um, yeah, so let's get to it. Let's enjoy it, and let's find out all about layouts.
Welcome to the Comics Unlimited podcast with your hosts, Glenn B. Fleming and Ted Davis.
Hey, good morning. How are
you doing?
I'm all Welcome right. Good. Welcome to Comics Unlimited, everybody. This is a podcast that basically we talk about our publication and about everything comics. We talk about Comics Unlimited, our magazine that's available on Amazon, which you can check in the chat. We've got the link there for you. And yeah, it's just a great the thing I like about it is that it's non-biased and it's all about comics, comic books, history, comic books today, everything. So, and we've got a lot of different articles, a lot of different article writers, especially Tony. And yeah, we're very proud of it. So, and that's why we do this podcast, so we can share the hobby a little bit more. And yeah, so my name's Ted Davies. I'm an artist and author. I'm best known for Retrieve and my book series Grim 101. How about you? Who's this guy?
Well, I don't think anybody knows who I am, so I'll tell them. I'm Glenn Fleming. I'm a writer, artist, and publisher, and this is my latest book. Get this, it's on Indiegogo in demand, or you can contact me and we'll sort something out. But it's a book about my visits to meet the great Jack Kirby, and also you get a DVD with it, which is me talking to him. You can see and hear his own words, and you can see me there as well occasionally when the cameraman decides to put me in.
In his own studio.
In his own studio, in his own house, with his own wife, but she's not on camera.
Yep. And it's like I said, it's a testament to documentation. I think that people will. So this is going to set the standard, Glenn. It's changing everything now.
I hope so.
Okay, so I want to say hello to everybody real quick, but we also want to talk about our sponsor, John Cashman, Cashman's Comics in Bay City. Give me 1 second. Let me get that here. And he's been there actually this coming up Friday. It'll be 26-year anniversary that they've been in business. So, and when you stop in there, make sure they've got a bunch of different sales going on. So check out everything that cashmanscomics.com has, because we've got a lot going on. And I know he's going to ship. As long as you pay the shipping, he'll ship it worldwide. I don't know about Australia because I think they're having some issues with that right now, but in general, but from here in the U.S. But check it out. Check everything that John does, because he's a great guy. He's built a huge collection for me, and just a great guy. So check out all the new products that they have out too. A lot of premiere products from Marvel and DC and all the rest of the indie publishers. He even sells my work there. So check out everything he's doing. Let's say good morning to everybody too. We've got let's see, Carl's first one in the queue. Donna, hello. We got Jody, awesome, and Eric. How about that? Huh? We got the full house here, and we've got looks like. Yeah, we got Frost Bear. I think that's Pete, if I'm not mistaken, and he's on Twitch. Of course, we want to say hi to everybody on Twitch because it's our first, technically our first recorded show. We were live last week on Twitch, but some technical errors, we didn't record it. So anyway, it is live and being recorded now.
We've lost it. It's lost. Oh no,
it's lost forever.
Oh dear.
So, but anyway, start fresh today. So, okay, you wanted to talk a little bit about layouts today. And I know that in architecture years ago, everything was presentation, everything, curb appeal, the drawings, everything had to be not perfect, but understandable. Yeah. And layout, I think, no, it doesn't really matter what it is. It could be a menu. It could be a publication like we're doing with Comics Unlimited. It could be a comic book like we're seeing over here. All these different things that have layout is so it's understandable. So you take it away, man. You tell everybody what you do.
Well, I've been working in graphics for the past 40 years, and so I've got a lot of experience in it. But I think that the main thing for me is the fact that I'm an artist that lends it, because a lot of it is to do with composition, as you know, the way the pages work, the way a drawing works. It's this composition. It's like a photograph. You have to get the right composition and all that kind of thing. But with the actual mechanical part of it, setting it up, it's like the sum of all parts. It's all that, you know, everything is as important as everything else. Like we said the other week about the lettering and the printing, and it all matters. Every part of it matters. There's no redundant parts. So what I do is I get articles from yourself and Tony and other writers, and I read through them, and they're all very interesting. And Tony writes some fantastic work. And as you said earlier, the unbiased point of view, because I know what he likes, and he writes a lot about what he doesn't like, but he gives a fair assessment and all that kind of thing.
Very rare. It's very rare. No agendas. No agendas.
That's right. Yeah. Well, yeah. And that's what he does. But then I will get when I've looked through the text, I see how much there is. We usually go for 1,000 words up to say 3,000. We do go beyond, but 3,000 gives a good 8-page article. And then either people will send me the scans they would like to see in it, or I'll find them, because I have the eye to get the most interesting ones. And that's what I did with this kind of thing on issue 1, which is obviously a montage. It's front and back.
Fantastic.
And there's just a way of doing it. But I mean, if I knew how, I'd be rich, you know. Yeah. But you know, I just select the images that appeal to me, and then I have to cut with these. I have to cut them all out in Photoshop, and then, you know, it takes a while. But I really enjoy doing it. I said this to you before. I like a different job on my desk every day, so to speak. I'm drawing, I'm writing, I'm making brochures and magazines. But another important part of it is sorry, just to go back, I get the text, and then I will get the images. And just hold up that issue you have there, number 9, you can see that that's 2 images from 2 separate comic books. Now, so I cut them out and put them on. And now the reason for that was obviously because it was Neil Adams and Joyce Perez. Right. But you can see the composition of, if you look at Khazar's hand, his arm, his right arm coming down, comes onto his left and goes to Wonder Woman. Then her arms go up and it creates a circle. And if you drop down lower, you'll see his leg coming in, and then you'll see her legs, and they all point to they make your eye go to the center of the page, and that's important. And that's what composition does. That's what it's for. You can break that rule, but that's generally what it's for. Right. And so I will see. I will get the article and see what the writer is talking about. And then I'll source the images, and immediately I'll pick out the best, what I think are the best ones, and the most you know, the ones that stand out the most. I mean, such as this one from issue 1. There's no argument about that, is there? Oh no, you know, straight up. You know, that had to be used. And what I do a lot is this kind of thing on the side, which is just covers.
Right. I love that, because it's, you know, it'll bring back memories to people. Yeah. Instantly.
That's right. And it's stuff like this. Like in issue 1, I had a great interview with Guy Dorian Sr., who draws for Marvel and DC. And he sent me that image. Now that had to be a full page in my mind. I didn't want to cut it out and lose this background.
No, it has to be.
It has to be that. But then I did the cover on the other page. The full cover, because to me, even though it's good, isn't as good as that Robot Man.
No,
in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and that's what I do, and I cut it out. And if you get things like simple things like Dennis the Menace, those to me had to be cut out to balance the page with the title.
I agree with you. Yeah.
But what I do is you've got to, when you're doing these pages, you can do them either in Quark, or I use Affinity now, and you have to create a master page, and you get all your logos at the bottom on your master pages there. And what it does, it's very clever, because you put this little code thing in, and it automatically numbers them. Even if you pick up, if you want to put an article after an article,
Mhm.
move the pages, it automatically changes the page number for you, which is brilliant.
That's great.
So what I do is what I do, and lots of people do, you set up a master page. So you get a size of your page, you'll
Mhm.
put the logos, you'll create a left and a right hand page, you'll create the text box on it, and then you just put the text into flow. You determine the size of the font after you've chosen a readable font. I use Arial most of the time,
Mhm.
and because you need a nice, clean,
Sure.
readable font. Because if you look at a lot of people get confused, I think, with typefaces, because if you if you imagine, Old English typeface, a lot of people tend to write that in caps, so it doesn't work. It's not meant to be written in caps.
No,
You
it's
need upper
not.
and lower case,
Mhm.
and they make these mistakes. But it's about the balance of it. And then you've got to get the color of the text, which is obviously a solid black in most cases.
Yep.
The size, the leading is important. That's the spaces between the lines. And what you do is you drop what I do is drop the text onto the page, and then I will import those like that.
Mhm.
Now on this one, you see what you can do is, you can see how he cuts into there.
Mhm. Mhm.
That is called Runaround.
Okay.
That is the box that he's in has a runaround, and that pushes the text around. It's a runaround.
Okay.
But on that one, I would create a separate text box there and
I
one
see.
there, so
Mhm.
it doesn't interfere with that.
Is it like a text box then? Like you could actually, you basically it's the area around it. It's basically a site plan, but
Yeah,
you can adjust that, crop it to what you need as far as the
yeah. And
parameters.
you see, what I do is I generally use uh, three column pages.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's because if you shouldn't write. You see, sometimes I do 2 column
Mhm.
pages, and that
Mhm.
works. But you should never have the column going right across the page, because I'm not necessarily agree with this, but I can understand what it means. Is that the human mind doesn't like to read too many words in one line. That's why we
I
break it down to
understood that.
columns,
Yeah,
because you
I
sort
can
of
completely understand that.
because you sort of forget where you are, and you sort of lose interest in a way. So there's all visual things like that are really important to get right,
Right.
and you're doing it all by eye.
How, Ryan Permisson, good morning, sir. He asked the question, how long does the layout process take before publishing the comic or the magazine? Well,
Yeah,
that
a long
depends. I
time.
mean, yeah,
Basically, when you do a master page, you're creating a template
yeah.
for the look of the magazine. So in other
Mhm.
words, I don't for the actual text, I use the same size, the same color, the same
Mhm.
leading, right?
Mhm.
But I will change it for the titles
Yes.
to
Yeah.
make the title stand out. And like, that's Moon Madness about these guys,
Mhm.
this hairy guy with no head. It's a really amusing story. This was a comic. I remember this from about 1968. Was in Beano or something.
Yeah.
But I tried to choose a typeface. I would never use that typeface. It's horrible, but it works with the
Yeah.
character guy.
Yeah.
It
It
works with it.
jumps off the page big time.
Yeah. So what I do is, like, there's the different type of typeface.
Let me bring that up.
There's cut that guy out,
Yeah.
and then I use this typeface.
Mhm.
You
But
know,
that works too, though. That works
yeah,
great. I
and
mean,
it depends on what you're doing. It's like with the EC one, there was just the
yeah.
logo. That's all you
Yeah.
needed. I
Yeah.
mean, EC, we all know EC. All you need is the logo and that guy there, and if you know anything about EC, you'll be
That's
right in there with that.
very powerful, no
Yeah.
doubt. Ryan also asks, how much does advertising affect the layout of the comic? In other words, how big of a factor is it?
Well, what we did with Crikey, we only had quarter, half, and full page ads,
Mhm. Mhm.
because it can throw the layout out, but you have to adapt to that. You have to try and keep the layout the same, because don't forget, when you put the ads in, if it's a full page, then there's no problem. You're just skipping a page. If there's half a page, it causes a bit of a problem, because you don't. What I try to do, I don't achieve this all the time, but what I try to do, I always try to get an image on every page with the text, because full pages of just text tend to be a
Yep.
bit boring as well,
Yep.
and you
Yep.
can lose concentration. So if you've got a half a page ad that takes up the bottom half, there's not much room for an image. So I would tend to put an image in the middle.
Understood.
One column, image, and then another column, and that would balance up with the ad. So whereas the ad doesn't necessarily reflect what's in the text, I do try and use it as a balance for the page. You should always keep that in mind. So
understood.
But don't forget that your ad will determine the space used on your page.
Right.
So, but you should still try and incorporate your design for the page within it.
Right. Carl states that looks like Glenn does his illustration photos first, then fits his text.
No, it's the same thing, because what I do is I get the text and I flow it in and see how many pages it takes. So if I've got 2,000 words of text, it will probably take that will probably flow into 2.5 pages, just text. Then I will do the title, and I do the things that are fixed first. So the title, you don't want to be changing the typeface all around to suit. You should have that in mind.
Yeah.
So I get the pages. See how many it's got. So if I've got text that's taken 2.5 pages, if I've got good images, I know that that article is going to be 6 pages.
Understood.
So then I cut them out and put them in.
One of in book 9, you did Cashman's Comics. Just to show the advertisement, the full page.
Yeah.
If you can see that. 2 large photos on that, and then you did, obviously I'm going to go to yours that you did with these ones are massive. This particular one, this is for your book, Jack. But just pretty epic.
You see, because what I did there was, with that advert, was that when you open it, because we always see the right hand page first,
right,
I put the ultimate trip, which I would imagine grab anybody, rather than the picture of the book. I could have done either, but I think it works that way.
And you did a great job with mine, as far as my advertisement goes. Thank you.
I know you're on air with me at the moment, but that is the most amazing drawing, and that's why. No, listen. Credit where it's due. That's why that guy got a full page, because that is one of the best drawings I've ever seen. And
stop. Thank you.
I appreciate it. It's got to be said. I cut it out and I put him on the yellow background, and I did the other page with the yellow, so he's in the same. It's the same frame, you know.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
It's great. It's great.
You're kind. The biggest thing with what I've seen, it's a combination of things with the book, though, because the paper quality, everything that you're doing, I don't think it's just, I mean, you get digital's great. Don't get me wrong. We do a lot of work with digital sales and that, not just in this book, but my books as well, and my artwork for that matter. I'm sure you do too. But as far as, you know, your layout is also your paper selections, that kind of thing. So this works well with Amazon. What about with other things that you do, like a Kirby book and that, or the 11 books that you've done? How is the layout affected by the materials that you choose?
Well, with these science fiction books, you know, I do illustrated books. I do plates, what they call plates, and that's because I can't bring myself to spend a year doing 72 full color pages,
right?
Because I've noticed something about myself, and I think other people, is I like to eat. So if I spend all year doing one book, I'm not going to get paid. But it's just a question of balance and experience and having an eye for it as well.
Okay.
But I do like to illustrate my novels. But when I do that, as I did with my dad's book, I tend to do a double page spread for the illustration, because I didn't want to run it. I didn't want it looking like a magazine.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, so I can understand that.
But it's a great thing. I like challenges. You see, I think it's a great challenge to design the look of a character, like you've done with Archimedes there, and it's a great challenge to write the story and then design the brochure or magazine or the composition of it. It's a great challenge. You know, I
It's
mean,
all artwork. It's all illustration and artwork.
like
I mean, it really
yeah.
is.
Well, as we're doing comics, which obviously
Hmm.
everybody knows is a very visual medium,
Hmm.
I saw this drawing by Gil Kane. I mean, how good is Gil Kane? And this
The man. He's the man. Yep.
this had to be like this for me. I cut him out from the original one, but that's how. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
Now that's the thing.
absolutely.
You
And
know,
that's almost, I almost put that on my shelf today. That's funny
yeah.
because I almost put that whatever it is, Warlock
But
#1 or
but
whatever it was.
yeah, he's so distinct with his orange and red costume
Oh
that
yeah,
the lettering had to be in red,
yeah.
because you don't want orange
No,
lettering. That not good.
just too much.
But
Yeah.
but again, I've sort of broken my own rule there and had one column nearly the width of the page, but it works.
The balance of it, yeah, it does.
So
It does.
it's like everything else. It's like rules are made to be broken, but you can't just do it because.
Well,
It's
your
got to-
favorite
it's
your
got to
favorite
improve.
artist broke all the rules.
Of
I
course
mean,
he did,
Jack
yeah.
ended up, his
Yeah,
perspectives and everything else didn't make any sense and made every bit of sense.
yeah.
So,
But he had to know
it goes
what he
to be
was doing
said.
in the first place to
Yeah.
break the rules. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, Frank Lloyd Wright, how he's like my Jack Kirby in
right.
architecture. He broke every rule and he created new rules.
Yeah.
And all he did was base it on nature. And he became, I think, one of the most amazing designers ever,
Yeah.
So it's the same with Jack. Whether
Yeah.
it was whether it was home design or whether commercial design, or if it was a comic book.
Well,
Design is design, right? Good design.
if we didn't break any rules, we wouldn't have aircraft, would we, or motor cars?
That's it.
We're not supposed to fly, or maybe we are supposed to fly, but we can't fly.
Yeah.
So
right.
we make something that makes us.
That's right.
Fly,
That's right. What's been the most rewarding on layout that you've done? Has it been an Has it been an artwork, or has it been a book? Has it been
that's I couldn't answer that. I've done I mean, I do particularly like this one.
Yeah,
this
I mean, that's a great.
But I really don't know. I like, even stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
beautiful.
I couldn't answer that.
I love the monochromatic. I mean, the monochromatic background. That's the one color, and then with a little bit of shadow. I love that anyway. I've always liked that style. Are you familiar with Erte? ERTE, the Art Deco master. Beautiful. Look him up because he's incredible. That it's so intense, the detail that he put into some of these illustrations. It's just incredible. But some of them are very monochromatic too, and I love that. I love that about them. Some of the ornate ones, but
you're saying about detail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How's this? It's like everything else. It has to work, right? It has to work.
Yeah.
How's this for no detail, but it works?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Dennis the Menace,
Yeah.
I get the logo in his black hair. I get what's inside the top. I get the title, and I get what it is, and I get who's in it, and then the special guest, Ewan Kerr there of DC Thompson.
Got it.
But look at that.
Very simple. Yeah, and beautiful. Yeah.
The best thing about this is that his eyes were looking to the side, and I got in touch with them, and I asked them if I could change his eyes, and they let me change the artwork.
Oh, good.
So he's looking at you when he's on the shelf.
Got it. It's brilliant. Very subtle.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest as far as layout mistake? Do you remember anything that really, when you were younger, as far as a graphic artist early on, was it something that you really messed up? Or
not one that I did, but I can tell you a story about. I worked at a place called Graphic 70, probably the best place I've ever worked. This is about it's 40 years ago now, and I didn't work on this job, and I'm really glad I didn't, because this might have been my goof, but it wasn't. The boss, Keith, was working with this other guy, and they were working on a poster. You know these posters that you see when you're on the freeway, and the head is 100 feet high.
Oh yeah. We call them billboards here.
Billboards, billboards, right. So he was working on one of those, and what he had to do was, it was to do with, I think it was to do with Virgin Airlines or something like that. So there was a picture of this air hostess. I don't know what they call these days. I'm PC. air
Yep.
hostess. This lovely looking girl with a cap on, right?
It's called flight attendant.
Flight attendant, right? Air hostess, as they were then. I'm 40 years in the past. You've got to go with that. And she's there, and she's gorgeous, and all. Then she's smiling. You know, it's lovely. She had these lovely white teeth, and they had this photograph of her. And this photograph is obviously this size. You know, it's only right.
And they're blowing it up to.
So they're blowing it up to she's 600 feet high. And the next day, and we were told that this guy finished the artwork, and they blew this thing up, and
it's all pixelated.
No. That's what it does do that, but from a distance, it's okay. So what happened was that in the photograph, her teeth were nice and white, but when they were 100 feet tall, they weren't so white. So we were all told that this was going to be on this billboard on Thursday afternoon. So when we're coming into work, we all went to look at this billboard, and it's got this gorgeous woman, and she's got these yellow teeth, you know.
Oh no! What'd they do? They get a painter up there and paint the teeth?
I don't know what they did. I just thought, oh, thank God I wasn't working on that one.
God.
Another one was a guy. I can't remember his name. Adrian. He did. I was saving. I'd got a load of these TIFFs from the photographer, and as you know, TIFFs are higher resolution than JPEGs.
Yes.
And I would
TIFFS, everybody. TIFF.
Tagged information file format. Right.
Yeah.
As opposed to joint photographic experts group. See, I know my stuff. Right. So anyway, when I had my job, we had about 400 of these TIFFs, and my job was to open the TIFF and save it as a JPEG, but keep the TIFF. So we had both.
Understood. Yep.
So I'm doing this for days. You can imagine opening it up, saving it down. Oh my God. And
it's monotonous.
I did it wrong, and I overwrote the TIFF, and we only had the JPEG. Right. So 1 out of 400 is not bad, is it? But it was a mistake. Anyway, so Aid's working on the cover. So Aid was working on the cover of this brochure, and he was in charge of the cover 400-page brochure for the business I worked in. They did safety signs, and he put on it was the autumn edition. It said autumn edition, and he put autumn, he put NM instead of NN, or whichever way around it is. Yeah, he did it the wrong way around, and it was printed. And it was printed. They printed 250,000 of these.
Oh my God! Nobody looked through it. Nobody edited him.
Everybody looked through it, but they all missed it, because that's the word that's going to go through, because everybody knows how you spell that, so you don't look at that.
Sure. Wow.
So all these things came in. So meanwhile, he gave me stuff for weeks about me saving this TIFF.
Oh, you must have wrote him about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I
right. So when that came in, I mentioned
karma.
it every 5 minutes for about 2 weeks, and he turned around to me and he said, "When are you going to stop mentioning that? How many times are you going to say it?" And I said, 250,000 times. And he went berserk.
I'm sure he did. That's funny.
Anyway, sorry, we digressed.
That's great though, man. See, those are the stories I like, because that's reality. You know, we can talk about how great our books are and how awesome we are and whatever, but it boils down to that's the humanity of it. And we make mistakes. You know, I'm sure everybody in the queue has had instances where they've screwed up, and
I can't tell you the story here, I don't think, but I did tell you the one about the Welsh flag, didn't I?
You know, don't be dissing anything about the Welsh.
No, nothing to do with no. It was nothing to do with that. It was to do with the Welsh flag. The story. I can't tell you the story. Don't tell you the story.
No.
Right. I had to draw a Welsh flag, you know, with the dragon guy and all that.
Man,
Brilliant, great.
I'm
great
looking
flag.
at one right now.
Great.
Two
nothing
of them.
Nothing wrong with the flag. And
That's my background.
And I had to do the research, and it took me about a day to draw it all out really nice, proper proportions, color it in, full color illustration, about A3 size.
Okay.
Right? And that was for this publication. And my manager, Mike, at the time, he said it had to go to the printer now. Right? It had to go now. And it was finished. So he put it against one of the columns in the studio, and he sprayed it with fixative to fix it, because it was
on
all
the back, I hope. Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Right. Fixed it. And the courier was there waiting to go to the printer now. And I said to Mike, and then he put a cover on it, right? It was okay. It was all
sure.
And I said to him, "How good is that fixative, Mike?" He said, "How good is it?" And he did something with it, and on his and then he lifted up the thing, and it smudged it all.
Oh. Oh my God.
So, oh no. So I had to do it again, but I did it again. It's funny how you do things. It took me a week to do it, and I did it a day to do it, and I did it in an hour. So,
God.
But it was just so funny. Anyway.
Why did it okay, so
because it didn't fix
were
the
you
paint.
rushed? Were you
Yeah.
were you totally rushed?
He didn't let the varnish dry.
Yeah, right. Well, no, I know that, but why did it take you so long before, and then because you knew?
Because I knew what I was doing, and I'd done all the research, and I got the drawing,
and that makes sense. I mean, I get that.
So,
because you don't want to ruin your oh, it's going to take me 6 hours, and then you do it in 2. You know, you're going to ruin your vibe at work.
That's
you
right.
got to like stretch the.
That's like Parker on Thunderbirds when he opens that safe door, isn't it? Where he takes.
Oh yes.
It takes him 4 days, and then he does it in 30 seconds. He didn't want to ruin his reputation.
Not everybody rips on the Welsh, Eric. This is just the British guy on the show. Don't worry about it. Anyway,
Welsh are British as well.
Yes, we understand.
But you know the joke about
we're the better part of British, but that's okay. All due respect, you're very close to the Welsh border. I'm just saying, dude, you're extremely close.
I am 41 miles from the Welsh border.
Right.
I think Wales is brilliant.
It is.
That's why I've not been since 1972.
You give me crap all the time about my dad being Welsh, but that's all good.
Your dad was a great.
I remember the first conversation we had, the first text I ever sent you. Do you remember that?
No.
I don't have it, but this is the kind of guy that Glenn is. He's a riot. I said, I forget what you were saying about being in Manchester. I said my neighbor is from Manchester, my neighbor here. And I said, but my dad was Welsh. And he says, how did you put it? He says, that's fine. I won't hold that against you. Or something along those lines, paraphrasing. But I'm like, okay, I got to know this guy now. Now it's on, now it's on. And 2 years later, we've got a show together and publishing a book together. Anyway, publishing.
And we still hate each other.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so as far as layout goes, though, everybody's affected by it. We don't even realize it. Whether it's a layout of a dashboard on a car, or if it's a book in your hand, whatever. We even a home. The layout of the home is a prime example. Layout is so important and so specific to our lives. We don't realize it.
And it was interesting.
And when it's subtle like that, that's even better. That's even more perfect.
It's like the official in the baseball game or the football game, isn't it? If you don't see the referee, the game was good because it flowed. But it's interesting what you said at the top when you said about the menu. A menu has more of an impact on a person than most people realize.
Colors and everything. Sure.
Yeah, that's why they design the way they are. You do get rubbish ones, of course, but when you go to a nice restaurant, the menus certainly generally
if there's a slight red inking to the higher end menus, it makes you more hungry. And there's very subtle things psychologically that printing. I mean, advertisement is psychology, and I know we can get Carl in on this discussion too. Eric says that I have a friend in Nottingham that rips on the Welsh too. Well, Nottingham, though. I mean,
Nottingham.
That's all I got to say. Come on.
It reminds me of that film. What's it called?
Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Men
what's
in
it called?
Tights.
What's it called? No. The other one. What's he called? The guy. Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner. I stopped watching that film after about 10 minutes.
Isn't that Robin Hood too? Isn't that Robin Hood?
Yeah. After 10 minutes. After 10 minutes.
I can't watch. Yeah.
Right. Stopped watching that film after 10 minutes because he said, the girl says to him, "Where are you going?" He says, "I'm going to see the sheriff of Nottingham."
Yeah. And it doesn't even sound, yeah, I know. It was tragic. It was
I thought he was
tragic.
supposed to be an actor, you know.
Right.
You know,
Well, he's a good actor. I
he
do
is a
enjoy
good
his
actor. Yeah,
movies, but
yeah,
just some of the stuff, it's like a certain singer singing not in the right key. They
yeah.
don't. They're terrible, but then if they sing in the proper key, that they're, that.
I
Um,
do.
or you've got to, well, okay. Let me ask you this: as a football player, do you like real grass or field, or do you
Oh,
like
got to
turf?
be real grass. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Got to be.
yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, you
How,
get scars all over your legs and burn
got it,
marks.
got it. Now,
Dangerous.
how do you remember seeing the layout of the field when you were a kid, right? When you
Yeah.
first got out there, did you understand it straight away, or did you have to be taught the way the parameters with
I
the
don't
rules?
remember anybody telling me exactly. I think you pick it up. I think you pick it up.
Hmm.
But I
And see,
was
that's the
amazed.
layout. That's a layout that you probably don't even think about anymore now.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether you're familiar with a soccer pitch, but you know the
Yeah.
penalty
Yeah.
area. Well,
Yep.
you know the half circle that comes out, the circle
Hmm.
that comes out
Hmm.
from the back. Do you know what
Hmm.
that's for?
No.
Right. Well, that's okay because you don't play soccer. But
No.
I used to work with a guy who ran a soccer club
Hmm.
for kids, and he was talking about that circle, that semicircle on the edge of the penalty area, and he didn't know what it was for. And I said, "Are you having a laugh?" And he said, "No. What is it for?" I said, "It's so that everybody is 12 yards from the ball when
That
somebody
makes
takes a
sense.
penalty."
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
That
he
makes
didn't
complete
know,
sense.
and
I didn't know that.
he
No.
ran a soccer school. It's like another guy I used to work with who I said to him, he reckoned he was a communist,
Hmm.
Marxist, and he was going on. And I said, I've read Das Kapital and I don't agree with it. And he said, what's Das Kapital? I said, that's like somebody saying they're a Christian and they don't know
And
what the
never read the
Bible is.
Bible. Yeah, right. Well, I mean, that's a whole nother story. That's a truth monger story right there.
Yeah, it is.
If a menu is confusing on the photo or to, yeah, right. Yeah. And well, that's one of the best ways to, when you go to a Chinese restaurant, the ones that are like in the mall or something, or that you get
Yeah,
sushi, the pictures are the way to do it. Cause you can't, sometimes, especially in a foreign country, you don't necessarily speak the language.
yeah,
So I don't know. I mean, layout, like I said, whether it's, well, layout's everything. It's like industrial
yeah,
design. It's in everything. You don't realize it. Um,
yeah,
ergonomics, not aerodynamics, but ergonomics, the positioning of things is a
yeah,
huge thing. Whether it's your laptop, how many of us, if you're looking at your laptop, if you're on a laptop right now, have a number pad on the side? Not all of them do. I mean, but I usually have one with a number pad on it so
yeah,
that I can, because I'm still from the Texas Instrument days of,
yeah.
doing
Well,
that, when we're years ago. A lot of us are looking up at the keys on the top, F1, all that. But layout is such a huge thing. Whether, like I said, whether it's books or what have you, but amazing stuff.
yeah, it's like
Amazing stuff.
with the films or the TV, you've got to get,
Hmm.
there's so many things going on. You've got to get the performances obviously out of the actors.
Yeah.
You got to get the angles and all that kind of thing, and the cinematography. But you've also got to get the lighting and the
Yeah.
composition of the shot is vital, you know.
Got it.
And
Yep.
there's so many elements, and you can and getting back to Comics Unlimited and
Yeah.
publications, all that stuff comes into play there. You know, the
What
colors,
Yeah. What
line
drives
work.
you completely batty when you see it in another book or whatever that just drives you nuts on the layouts? Like you can't stand it. Colors, or is it
It
placement
can,
of photos?
it can be
Right.
anything. I cannot. This sounds like I'm trying to escape, but it's when it doesn't look right, but when it's obviously not right,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and somebody's missed it, because I don't believe
You,
that any designer is going to do it on purpose.
no, one of the things that we didn't do, we talked about it. Let's talk about layouts in the book.
Yeah,
Just the way that you've got
yeah,
these photos here. I just want to show people the interior of the book. And we got somebody, famous guy in our queue here. We're going to show a picture of their work too.
yeah.
So,
Well, what I did there was I wanted the main part for me was the
mhm,
life in comics. That's why I made that the
yeah,
headline,
yeah.
and it's obviously George Perez, and that's such a
And the
fantastic draw.
signature, everything's perfect. I
Yeah,
mean, that's just perfect.
what I did with the signature was that's such a great illustration of Wonder Woman, but because I'd
Mhm.
already used it on the
Hmm.
cover. I didn't want to just do it again, so I put his signature into
Hmm.
Photoshop and knocked
Right.
out all the white and made it see-through,
It's brilliant.
transparent, and then
Hmm.
dropped it onto her and did the blue around it to match the Life in Comics logo.
Yeah.
Well, header.
Tied it right in. Tied it right
And
in.
then
Beautiful.
and then I did what I usually do and drop a cover in the text. I made it three columns because that's nice for this
Hmm.
layout.
It
And then
balances it beautifully. Yeah.
I dropped in that lovely pencil drawing because you don't see
Hmm.
much of his pencils,
No, you don't. You
and
don't.
that's why I did that. Now I could have on another layout. I could have, the text at the top where it tells you about where it says George Perez was born in New
Yes.
York. I
Yep.
could have put that under the picture, or I
Yeah.
could have put it under the title, but it worked better there because
I think it did. Yeah.
it leads you in nicely, I think. And then you've got what it is. You've got this fantastic drawing of Batman kicking Captain America, and then you
Hmm.
look left and you've got this gorgeous Wonder Woman there,
Hmm.
and then you've got the man who did it with that fantastic signature there.
Right. And
And
and I'm really glad that that I signed on this one, to start the
yeah,
publishing relationship with you, especially after George had passed and everything,
yeah,
and we decided to run. It was during that, beforehand, but to
yeah.
have it culminate with George's memory too. That was awesome. It's just you did such a great job on that.
Thank
Neil
you.
Adams again, 2 weeks
Yeah.
prior passed away as well. So, and
Well,
go ahead.
You see that was the reason I used that drawing there because of Green Lantern is because it's such a typical Neil Adams quirky look on the face.
It looks like something he would do,
Yeah,
looking at a camera. Yeah,
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 and
yeah.
I also love the where the colours out of registration on the
Yes,
mask as
are
well.
just off,
I,
just enough.
I
Yeah,
like
love
to
it,
use that kind of thing, but
love
I
it.
also believe, well, this isn't my idea. This is true. That when you do something like the side of the face like that, you need a lot of empty space,
Yes,
and that's why there's so much empty space there, and it goes into 2 columns, but the header runs over 3
yeah,
because I wanted the Neil Adams to be big. I could have reduced it to the 2-column width. It would have
yeah.
been half the size. That wouldn't work. Now, don't
Mhm.
forget that you've got the gutter in there as well that you have to contend
Yes,
with. So you want to,
yes.
if you can, you shouldn't be running lettering over a gutter unless it's in the center spread
I agree.
where
I
there's no
agree.
break. You
Yep.
can do it with an illustration and get away with it, but you shouldn't do it with
Right. And
with lettering.
when you're doing a profile like that too, if you're too close to that, like you're saying, the gutter, it looks like it's smushed. It looks like
That's
you're,
right. Yeah.
you're running into a wall, and
Yeah.
it's not. But just brilliant. Did you use the same color on the Neil Adams?
I think it was the same color. Yeah, the same blue. Yeah, same
Yeah.
mixture of blue. I think it's it looks to me like 100% cyan, sort of
Yeah.
40 magenta.
Yeah, beautiful.
But
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were we gonna
I
say?
was just going to say on that Neil Adams one, I just like the way that you can see the dots of the printing.
Yeah, I do too. I just love that, and that it harkens back to the newsprint. You know, it's just awesome, just awesome. I like this one a lot too. The yellow,
Yeah.
just makes it just jump.
Yeah.
And even with all the text on there, you still brought in. I mean, it's very interesting, the layouts, the way it's done. Really, really interesting.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's there's only so many things you can do, especially with. I like to show a lot of covers in these magazines and pages of art. I
Yeah.
can't show them full size because you might get into trouble with that because this is
Right.
just representation,
Understood.
fair use,
Mhm.
and. But they're such fantastic pieces of art. But if you see that All-Star Squadron annual cover there,
Yes.
if I was going to use that as an illustration, I would have knocked out all that brown background and
Yeah.
the logos and
Yeah.
had it open. But I thought better of it. I think it works as it is.
I think so.
Sometimes I'll do that, but it's a lot of work in there. So I probably thought I can't be bothered doing that.
Right. And one of the things that I really enjoyed in this book was Jodie's article.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
it's
fantastic.
great, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
The only bit I wasn't happy about this layout was the fact that her sword does end there on the drawing. I didn't
Yeah.
have the
But
end of the
that's,
sword.
that's all
But
good.
it still works. I mean, what a fantastic drawing that is. What a fantastic woman that is. And look at that thick line around it. It's absolutely brilliant.
And it balances it out nicely.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And then you've got the Kirby covers are always good, and but I
It's
just thought
perfect. Yeah, and
I'd
that's
let
a
somebody
great.
else.
I'm glad that you threw that in there. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but
testament.
also with this drawing of the girl, again, there's a lot of open space, and I've
Mhm.
tied the Amazon color with her
Yes.
legs.
Yep. Dynamite. But it's a really good article. It made a lot of sense to me after and it makes a lot of sense because of the book that Joe's writing as well, the series that he does,
Yeah,
Amazonia, and
and
it was
he's quite good.
brilliant to
That
tie it
he's
all in.
quite good. That McPhee guy. He's going to do some more
Yeah,
stuff
I
as
think
well.
so. I think
He's
so.
pretty good.
I think
think
we'll
we'll
definitely
keep him
keep.
on.
Yeah, I think we'll keep him around.
Yeah,
He's definitely worth it. That's awesome, though.
he knows what he's doing. Yeah.
I think so. Scary thought, but I think so.
Can I just show this for some layout
No,
on my
no,
book?
we're out of time. Got to go. Go ahead. What were you saying?
On my book,
Yeah,
because they're just photographs, and I'm not going to start messing with them.
yeah,
I did the the column down the side again with the
yeah. I noticed that. I don't think it's bad though. I don't think it's bad at all. It's just
this one
enough. It's
is,
almost like it's a cliff note. I mean, it's nice.
yeah.
I know it's a nice format.
And then, as you know, this is one of the best things I did. But
If you don't say so yourself, yeah,
well,
good.
I'm just amazed. See that? See that?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
a fantastic photograph that is!
Oh, it's a great shot.
And I
Yeah,
didn't take
yeah.
that. But the story is that, see the guy with next to my right with the blue jeans on?
Yes. Yep.
There was somebody standing there. I got rid of them.
No kidding.
Yeah, in Photoshop.
I did not know that. Yep. He's a big fan of American books, that gentleman. If you watch that
Steve
interview,
Hooker.
yeah, if you watch the interview, it talks a lot about he talks a lot about American comics and how the British market, all the kids love the American comics versus like, I know you like the British stuff too, but he was very he really wanted American comics when he was a kid.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
he was very much talking about that throughout
Steve writes real quirky stuff, and he has a good sense of humor. And that's the main reason I like his articles, because they're really off the wall, so to speak. And speaking of Tony Ingram, who was the main article writer, the very first one he submitted was for Super Spies, and Tony goes to meet Nick Fury, and he's waiting for him in a cafe.
That's right. I remember.
And it's the funniest thing. I remember getting that because he submitted it. We were doing Crikey, and he just submitted it, and I just laughed out loud. He
very creative,
and it was great. It was great because I wrote an article about Troy Tempest or about X20 from Stingray, and Tony said he had the same reaction when he read my article. He laughed out loud. So I thought, well, this is great. So I would urge people to get Super Spies because it's pretty good.
It is. I'm looking forward to it. Well, I'm hoping that we do more publications with it.
Yeah.
Just gonna leave that there for a second.
Yeah, and then eventually he wasn't there, was he? Was just a picture of a bridge with nobody on it?
Stalin or NASA? Which one do you want to work for? Anyway, just kidding. Just kidding. Carl likes Super Spies too, and that's we should probably do something more with that because I think that is definite.
I think
I think that there's a market for that big time.
I think it's one of the best magazines I've ever worked on.
Yeah,
tell you the truth.
Man, this has been fun, man. I appreciate everybody stopping in. If you could like and share this out for all that did, thank you very, very much. Thanks for everybody that's been watching this on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. Appreciate it greatly. Try to follow us. We'd love for you guys to stop in and follow me on teddaviesartistry.com or here wherever you're watching this, as well as Glenn. Where can they find you, man?
Yeah, mainly on Facebook and certainly on Amazon. All my book, put my name in, Glenn B. Fleming, there, and you'll see all 10 or 11 books, whatever it is.
Yep. You can get Comics Unlimited there.
Yeah,
too,
and Comics Unlimited is there, and you can also get this one.
Yes, you can. First book of Hatch. Yes.
And number 2 is coming soon.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to that. A lot of great stuff coming out with that. That's gonna be, under the radar stuff, but man, really, really cool now.
And don't forget your guys in the next Hatch.
Yes, I'm looking forward
on the wall.
Yes, yes.
And you didn't see
famous.
Him.
I didn't see him. I walked right past him. So you guys will. That's definitely if when we get copies of them, that's where I'm going to sign it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
If anybody wants my signature in that book, that's where I'm signing it. Thanks, man. This has been fun. I'm glad we
Great,
learned a
yeah,
little bit
yeah,
about your process with layouts. I think that it's just just the beginning of it, because I think that you didn't. It's only an hour. How are you supposed to pack 40 years in
yeah,
layout experience in an hour? This is nuts, you know. But yeah, we'll probably venture in that a little bit further, I think, in a
yeah.
later show. But thanks, guys, for stopping in. I got a draw. I got a lot going on. Stop in on Tuesday, July 6th. Everybody have a good, safe weekend, too. It's coming up to July 4th this weekend. Be safe. Don't blow your fingers off fireworks, all that stuff. Be careful. But starting next Tuesday, July 6th at 10 a.m., Back to the Drawing Board is going to be live, and that's going to be the show. So we did a little bit of a soft opening on last Tuesday. It did pretty well. We're excited about that, so that's good. So we're going to be working on my book Retrieve, the beginning, the larger format, 11 by 17 cover. I'm going to be working on a few things with that and going through some of my process. So check in. It'll be live. And yeah.
Thank you for the shout out on my colouring on your last show as well.
Oh, man.
You mentioned
Are you kidding? Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's the least I can do. Lot going on right now, man. We got a lot happening here.
Yeah.
So be part of it. Join us. We would love for you guys to join in, be part of this tribe. So, all right. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon. Don't work too hard.
Thanks a lot. We'll try not to. See you later.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk to you. Thanks again, guys. Have a great week. Be safe. Have a great holiday. Thank you.
Welcome to the Comics Unlimited podcast with your hosts, Glenn B. Fleming and Ted Davis.